NFI, it's Zainab. It's been a while. So, this week we are talking about things which tick us off and things which we could talk about for ages. And the thing I find really interesting about this generally is that it tends to be different depending on what part of your life you're in and what's going on and what sort of things you're ingesting. But the thing that I think I generally find really annoying are generalizations, and there's so many reasons for this. I think generally because the moment you start using generalizations, even though they're really useful, you can fall into the trap of not including or not realizing the nuance in what you're talking about. And it's really useful in some senses because it means that you can group things, and it means that you don't have to worry about all the detail because none of us can look at all the detail. But I think when you're looking at, for example, one big thing that I'm noticing at the moment for sure is looking at other people's experiences. It's really annoying when you use generalizations because you can basically eradicate like a whole group of people's experiences and the challenges that they live in their life because of the way that you choose to generalize. And I think the thing that I'm finding quite hard generally to come to terms with when trying to educate myself is realizing just how much politics can influence how we generalize and the generalizations that we accept. I think the problem with generalizations that I find are that a lot of the time, if you don't put the effort into educating yourself, then the generalizations will be made for you and you'll be fed information about the truth without realizing that it's not the truth because you won't realize that there's something wrong. And I think that's why we need to listen to people's experiences and actually look around and see what's going on. But I think that's one of the awesome things that's come out of social media, in the sense of we can share our experiences and we can share the truth of what happens, and it's not influenced as much by like huge media like corporations, etc. Obviously the problem is, especially when we're really far away from what's happening, they still have a lot of clout and there's still a lot of big corporations which can control what we see and what we hear. And I think that's why, especially nowadays, it becomes really important to make sure that you find reliable sources of information, to make sure that you don't ignore experiences and happenings around the world which are really important to know about. To make it a bit lighter, other generalizations I think I just find hard to accept, I think, are just being careful not to label anyone as just like one thing. But also I think it's almost like, I think generalizations can feel like labels sometimes, and as we know, labels can be useful for identifying things, but they aren't necessarily useful for individuals and more specific experiences, but especially when the experiences that we're looking at aren't specific, when they're actually experiences that affect a whole group of people, but instead of accepting that and trying to understand where that comes from, we just kind of don't care about it because it doesn't affect us in the same way. So yeah, I'm not going to watch this back, so I have no idea if what I said makes sense. But generalizations, the thing that I find really hard, because we all do it, and it's not something that we do to try and be malicious a lot of the time, but it is something that we do which can be quite annoying because it can just remove entire groups of people and entire, like the nuances in everything. Nuance is important, and we need to do our best to make sure that we hold on to it, to make sure that we listen to as many people as we possibly can. Cool. At the moment, it's Dave, who we will see on Tuesday. I hope you're all keeping well in amongst the really strange world that we're all living in right now. Bye bye.